That unmistakable sight can mean one thing. We're at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana on a cold and snowy afternoon. Let's bring you inside the Purcell Pavilion for ACC women's basketball action as the Fighting Irish host the Miami Hurricanes, two teams in need of a win. Great scene here at South Bend for women's basketball. We welcome you courtside. I'm Brett Dolan with Monica McNutt. Great to have you with us. It's cold outside. The wind chill 0. It's starting to snow. These fans have had to weather a bit of a storm to come here today. But Monica, these two teams, it feels like they've had to weather portions of the season. From the Watsco Center in Coral Gables, Florida, it's ACC women's basketball as the Miami Hurricanes finish off a 3-game homestand. They welcome in the Syracuse Orange in a big game for both teams. And welcome courtside. I'm Brett Dolan with the sharpshooter from Clemson, Kelly Gramlich. Sebastian's also here in a non-speaking role, but great to have you with us for a busy day of college basketball. It has been a crazy week in the ACC, and Kelly, for teams at the bottom of the standings, these next few weeks are important to really avoid a steep climb to get back in the mix. No Beatrice Mom-Premier for the Miami Hurricanes. They've been without her for a couple of weeks, so where do the Canes go to provide some points and rebounds? The junior from Whitney Young High School in Chicago, not that far from home, and quick inbounds pass there to Hyman, and she drew the foul. Don't forget Lewis in that first game back in early January. She had 28 against the Fighting Irish. Syracuse needed each and every one of those, and she's trying to do it again on the road today in a must-win game for the Cuse, who are not in the projected brackets as of now, despite 5 straight wins. And Monica feels this pain just coming over her again with the missed free throw.
Free throws. I mean, I hate missed free throws, period. But to your point, this game remains a must-win for this Syracuse squad.
Do you feel that pressure right now if you're the Cuse? I mean, Coach Q said, yeah, we talk about it. We don't shy away from this conversation. Do you feel it as a player?
I think you do. And I think under the leadership of Coach Q, he wants you to feel it, and he wants you to respond and not crumble underneath it. Pressure makes diamonds, or pressure bursts pipes.
We've got 4 minutes to find out. Gilbert with a shot clock winding down. She was wide open, and she's in double figure.
Her ability to keep her dribble alive. And so often we see players sort of pick up their dribble and get stuck. But Caitlin Gilbert's going to keep dribbling until she finds a better option.
Lewis going to work again. There's the handoff, and that's going to be a block on Sneesick, who thought she had another one of her charges.
Wow. Kiera Lewis. Man, earlier in the ballgame, I believe that was either top of the 4th or toward the end of the 3rd, Sneesick drew a charge against Lewis, and she kind of got up and shook it off and was smiling. This time, she beats Sneesick to the spot. Not much to argue about that call.
First time these teams met, Kiera Lewis went to the free throw line 18 times. Big free throws here.
She's so understated. I mean, a lot of the reason that she ended up on this roster was because of her good friend, Gabby Cooper. You talk basketball with her, you talk her role and her responsibility. She just wants to play.
Another miss. Boy, Notre Dame got up to such a hot start in this game. But it has been a struggle since. Try to maintain this lead. You see the 27 first quarter points, 41 in the last 3 quarters. Good pass. Gilbert. The pause and the patience and the hit.
You've got to switch that aggressively. Gilbert has run that about 4 times now and either had an opportunity to score on at least 3 of them or made the right pass.
Timeout, Syracuse, and Notre Dame trying to maintain this lead.
Welcome back. We've got a 5-point game with just 3:04 to go. This was an excellent play there as Caitlin Gilbert comes off the back screen set by Mickey Vaughn and is able to finish in traffic. I mean, I'm literally sitting here, Brett, like, well, what's the best way to defend it? And even if Tisha Hyman had locked and trailed, she still in theory would have been behind Gilbert. You got to switch that one boldly and disrupt the cut, I suppose.
Every possession critical for Syracuse. And Stroutman able to maintain possession. Fighting for the offensive rebound. What a great tip out. Gabby Cooper.
Syracuse Syracuse has such a knack for the theatrics over the course of this season. Remember the outback play that gave them the victory over Florida State? Strautmana hit a big-time 3 in that game. Kiara Lewis hit a big-time 3 the last time these two teams met up, Brett. Goodness.
Late game drama again with the Irish and the Orange nearing the 2-minute mark.
Put your seatbelts on, folks.
Gilbert tried to go with the right hand. Knocked away by Strautmana, and there's 2 to shoot.
Great defense by Strautmana, avoiding the foul.
Notre Dame needs an outback special here. The 2 on the shot clock.
That's going up. Oh,
wow. Didn't realize the shot clock was winding down.
I'm shocked. I literally thought for sure that was going up.
And the pained expression on the face of Muffet McGraw, hoping that her young freshman, they're gaining some experience by these games down the stretch, but they're still freshman moments.
She quite honestly said to us, when do we actually learn?
Joldy-Toppy against Vaughn. There was contact. Offensive foul. Bodies on the floor.
Wow. What a bang-bang play. Get our coaches in our 2-box. We had Q there briefly for a moment. I kind of thought Vaughn just lost her footing personally, but
see how much of the shot clock Notre Dame wants to burn up.
Syracuse is obviously in a man defense.
That's wide left, not even close out of the hands of Gilbert. It wasn't within 2 feet of the rim.
This is fantastic. This is great. I mean, that wasn't such great offense. I don't want to confuse that part. But the competitiveness of this basketball game, Syracuse coming back from an 18-point deficit. How much have these Irish freshmen grown?
Lewis, she took a bump from her right side and her left side, and she'll go to the line.
She looked like a little bumper car in there.
She did.
We keep talking about what this game means and it being a must-win. You see there, according to Charlie Cream, Syracuse needs to win their next 3. That includes today's contest.
Our first tie of this basketball game comes with 1:20 to play in regulation. Nearly a steal. And Hyman stepped out of bounds.
Where are my girls? I'm so used to watching Syracuse heroics down the stretch alongside Kelly Gramlich and Kelsey Riggs. I mean, you're a great partner, but I'm just used to watching it with them.
You're ready for me to be out of here. Vaughn spinning and was fouled between Joldy-Toppy and Strautmana.
It looks like it's going to go against Joldy-Toppy, and that honestly was textbook defense until Joldy-Toppy brought her hand down horizontally.
That's her 4th foul too.
Yep. If this thing ends up requiring extra time, that will be costly.
Mickey Vaughn has put the Fighting Irish back in front, and she is tied a career high. That is her 20th point. Coming off 3 the other day against Virginia Tech, 21 this afternoon. Inside a minute to play from the Purcell Pavilion. Lewis at a big 3. Syracuse to force overtime. Lost the ball.
That is unlike Kiara Lewis in that moment.
It doesn't look like Syracuse is going to foul. They're going to let Notre Dame play this one out. Timeout, Notre Dame with 28.3 to play.
That is unlike Kiara Lewis in that moment. She just loses her dribble here.
Thought she was going to use this elbow and maybe get a foul.
She just loses her dribble. About a 10-second difference remains, though, in the half-court set. Syracuse has to be mindful of that same play with the back screen by Michaela Vaughn, freeing Caitlin Gilbert or Destiny Walker. They've struggled to defend that.
Monica, multiple times we've seen Notre Dame, though, have a hard time getting the ball inbounds, deflections, knockaways, and Syracuse trying to take advantage. If ever there was a time to overplay, do you do it here?
I imagine that Syracuse will put one of their larger guards on the ball. I believe the ball will be inbound right in front of the Notre Dame bench. I would not be surprised if they run some trap action early. Gabby Cooper, Hyman, even Kiara Lewis getting into some of that trap action early. They've got to be careful of what we mentioned, though, that outback special, which was that lob to the paint off the side out of bounds play.
Syracuse has never won in this building. They have never led today. They got it tied once after they were down as many as 18 early in this game. 18 to shoot for the Fighting Irish. Syracuse in that zone, and the Irish are going to burn up as much as they can of that clock. Gilbert got too far under, and it's out of bounds, but there's still 2 to shoot. Marta Snezik to pull the trigger. Walker will hoist, and that's a violation. There's 10.1 to play. And Syracuse will spend a timeout to see if there's another outback special of some type that might tie the game or win it for the Qs.
This is something, partner. Syracuse will advance the basketball. Destiny Walker got a pretty good look at it. Gabby Cooper did her best to close out. Walker rushed just a bit, doesn't connect on anything. And now the Irish have to defend. I tell you what, we've seen some pretty notable X's and O's. I personally would steal some of the plays we've seen from both of these coaches. But this is an area in which Coach Q has excelled. And quite honestly, we talked about the pressure. His team has responded down the stretch in tight ball games to force overtime. They haven't always come out victorious, but they're no stranger to this position.
25 wins a year ago. The last time this Syracuse team didn't win at least 20 games, you have to go back to 2008, 2009, looking for another late season push. We'll see if the luck of the Irish remains with Notre Dame or whether Syracuse can win their 6th straight game, because they have to keep adding to this. Today's game is important to set up the next game that's important, and so on and so forth.
Syracuse will go and play NC State and Boston College to round out the season.
Gabby Cooper is going to inbound in front of her bench. Kiara Lewis, defended by Snezik. For the lead. Put back try, won't go! Gabby Cooper couldn't stick it back in. And Notre Dame has survived and won by 2.